Yes, members of the community, students and teachers told the State Board of Education they're here to fight for what is right. But at the end of the night, they had to face a ruling they were not expecting. The Connecticut State Board of Education voted Wednesday not to fund the opening of Capital Prep Middletown Charter School, despite passionate pleas from families, students, and educators.
We ask board members to have the courage to do what is right and protect the schools you manage.
At Capital Prep, I know that a school like this can help Connecticut grow, and I think people in Middletown deserve a Capital Prep and this type of education.
Capital Prep Middletown was initially approved by the State Board in 2023 when it ranked #1 among 7 other charter school applications. But Capital Prep was later dropped from the funding. And 2 years later, the founder of Capital Prep Middletown, Steve Perry, says they're here to fight for the funding they deserve.
We asked that the State Board of Education fulfill its statutory responsibility, which is to decide which school is funded first based upon the scores received during the application process.
But the board argues that the decision to fund the schools is up to the legislature.
So at that point, on December 10th, 2024, I called the commissioner. I said, hey, I don't know if you realize this, but I think y'all broke the law.
Under the two-step process under 1066BV, subsection A, the State Board did its job. The CSD did its job. The State Board did its job. And now, to become a full-fledged charter school again, it's in the hands of the legislature.
Director of Legal and Governmental Affairs for the Connecticut State Department of Education, Mike McKeon, explained.
They had a great proposal. That's why we gave them the initial certificate of approval, but they're not maybe at the same place or the same context as the other school. We have to determine where they're at, what their chances of success are, and ramping up and getting students and getting up to speed, and that determines where the money is getting.
Now, again, the regulatory ruling came as a shock to all the student body, but as for the next step, both Perry and Capital Prep's attorney tell me they will now take this to court. In North Haven, Valerie Moravi, Fox 61.